So, I'd like to speak to you today about two books. One is Leviticus, and the other is Corinthians. Now, I picked two different books out of two different testaments because a lot of Christians... let me take this off right quick. Because a lot of Christians claim that they don't follow the Old Testament. And this is fine. But they also claim that you can't take the Bible out of context. This is also fine. But if they're going to cherry pick, then at least they should be a little bit sly about it. Let me give you an example. I'm going to be reading Leviticus chapter 20. I'm going to start with verse 9. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 9. And I'm going to read up until chapter, let's say, 13. Okay. If anyone curses his father or mother, he must be put to death. He has cursed his father or mother, and his blood will be on his own head. If a man commits adultery with another man's wife, with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress should be put to death. If a man sleeps with his father's wife, he has dishonored both his father and himself. Both the man and the woman must be put to death. Their blood rests on their own heads. If a man sleeps with his daughter-in-law, both of them must be put to death. What they have done is perversion. Their blood is on their own heads. If a man lies with a man as one lies with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They must be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. Now, this very verse, Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, is the basis for a lot of Christians saying that gayness is wrong and that homosexuality is very wrong and nasty and disgusting. Okay, but that brings me to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ himself? Shall I then take members of the Christ and unite them with a prostitute? Never. Do not you know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her in body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh, but he who unites himself in the Lord is one with his spirit. Okay, now I read this from the New Testament. Now, you can't take the Bible out of context. I understand this, but I'm not taking it out of context. If you read chapter 6 of the 1 Corinthians about sexual immorality, the whole little bit there, you'll find nothing about homosexuality being immoral. It says prostitutes, but it does not say homosexuality. Now, where they're getting homosexuality as a sin is from the book of Leviticus, but they themselves claim that Leviticus is not a series of laws that should be followed anymore. There's ceremonial law, there's cultural law, and then there's spiritual law, which is like the laws, the 10 Commandments that God has given you, and such as that. Now, Leviticus also says those other crazy things about, not eating meat on Fridays, and that's a stone-worthy offense, and, killing your wife if she's not a virgin when you sleep with her. That's also a death-worthy offense. Also, as I read to you quite a few things, there's a lot of death for things that are not that bad. So, if you're going to cherry-pick the Bible, be a little bit sly about it. If you're going to do this, then, do it. But let people know that you're cherry-picking. And I say this because, well, you, as a group of Christians, claim that you don't follow the Old Testament. However, that seems to be your main verse for picking on gay people, even though in the New Testament it says nothing about homosexuality being a sin. This is brought to you by the Odious Satanus. Hail Satan, and have a good night.